Alrighty, YouTube. Finally, I'll come back with another tutorial. I've been recommended to do a few. I've had a couple on my list, haven't got to them. As you can see just there, we're gonna start this first tutorial off with a coaster tutorial. Coasters are, especially on big bikes, coasters are a pretty dangerous trick to learn. You gotta master the basic wheelie first. I would say you need to be super comfortable with sit downs. You gotta really be on top of your sit down game for these. This slow, I'd say, before like thinking of doing coasters. Don't even consider trying to shift in a wheelie if you haven't done coasters. That's like, from my experience and videos that I've seen, actually a great example of this is go look at Killa Cam's recent video of the dude totaling his FZ07. He was trying to shift in, in a wheelie, didn't really have it at, didn't have that foot brake control that you need. The first step, make sure you've mastered sit downs to the point where you can really slow them down to like almost where it's going to stall. The second step is the height of the wheelie. So if you're below balance point like this and clutch in, you're going to drop like that. For coasters, you have to be basically right at balance point, I believe. I mean, I do it all by feel. Like, I'm no seasoned expert at this, so I've kind of done it based off of feel, but I kind of know where it needs to be before pulling in the clutch in to at least sustain some sort of coast. Right here, kind of when that top of your dash is kind of like eye level is where you want to pull in. This is all coast. So now that you kind of know the height you need to be at to pull the clutch in, you gotta know what to do with the foot brake. The first part of step 3 is kind of having light pressure to kind of catch it as it falls back into this coasting sweet spot. And once you're in that coasting sweet spot, kind of with your speed and momentum, you'll just roll. And there's not gonna be a lot of brake input. It's very light on the foot brake. And if you fall forward out of the coast sweet spot, I go no brake and kind of lean back, let all my ass go back to try and pull the bike back farther. And you might not be able to save that. And then if you fall too far behind the coasting sweet spot, you're gonna need brake to keep you from looping, but you're gonna end up slowing down until you kind of get back into that sweet spot again, and the coast probably won't last long. But there's a very good window of minimal brake input and the bike just coasting, on that one wheel that you want to stay in. If you've ever seen that like graph of like chase, balance point, like coast, and 12, that's the best way I would try and visualize it. I'm only a year into this, so this is based off my experience. If there's OGs that see this video and know better than me on how to control the coaster itself, please correct me in the comments. The biggest precaution is do not let the clutch out in a panic. That's going to be the biggest danger when doing these. I would much rather land heavy and mousetrap forward, to an extent. Like you really don't want to fly, like you really don't want to fling yourself over the bars either. But I remember when I was learning these and pulling the clutch in, and because it does fall, you don't have any engine brakes, so it falls back a lot faster than kind of you're used to in a wheelie. So that's why being able to slow it down and having that foot brake mastered is a crucial step as well. Don't let the clutch out. I landed so heavy on these forks a bunch of times when I was trying to learn these, and I'd much rather do that than accidentally slip the clutch and launch my shit backwards into a complete flip. If you clutch in and you go too far back, just tap the brake and just hold that clutch in. I've had some times where I let it out in a panic. Thank God that I kind of like have foot brake really under wraps. because it saved my ass quite a few times. So I guess I'll recap. So the first step is to master your foot brake. Second step is the height of the wheelie before pulling your clutch in. You know, you got to have that dash at eye level. And then the third step is the foot brake control. When you're actually in the coaster, there's a nice sweet spot where the bike will just flow, and you'll feel that. And if it's going to drop too far, let off the brake and kind of just put your weight backwards. And then if you drop back too far, you're going to have to apply some brake to bring yourself back, but it's going to slow down the actual coaster, and you're not going to get to like max distance. Going to do it for this tutorial. You know, if you have questions, ask them in the comments. I'll do my best to try and explain it. You know, if I can, I'll go make another video on it. But you know, that's my knowledge on the subject.
Stash in the carpet, yeah, we trapping out apartments. I ain't done when you start shit. To be